Before we get into this video, I just want you to imagine this. Imagine you get the thunder gun out of the box. It's overpowered. You're using it, you're fucking up all the zombies, and Treyarch looks at this and says,
"We need to fix this right now."
They nerf it, make some changes, and they ruin the weapon. How would a change like that make you feel? It honestly feels like Treyarch or Activision are making changes so we can have less fun in their games. It's like taking toys away from a toddler and just expecting them to have fun on their own. These things that were given to us in the game that were overpowered is what we're having fun with. And from the looks of it, Call of Duty is really paying the price right now as 50% of the player base is already gone, which is just mind-blowing. We're only in the first DLC and 50% of players are gone. What is going to happen in a couple months? That being said, let's take a look at the patch notes that Call of Duty released. Also, at the end of this video, I just want to talk about internet safety and cybersecurity, since my main job, I do IT, and I take care of people when it comes to their computers and just basic internet safety, and I think this would be an important message for you guys, especially for people that play on PC, since there's a lot of hackers in Call of Duty, and being compromised is one of the worst things that can happen, because you would hate to get your entire rig destroyed, or if something were to happen where you would need to throw your machine away. So make sure to stick to the end of that. The main focus I am going to be talking about is zombies, and also the current Squid Game event, which is still happening, which still kind of blows my mind for their priorities, but I'll get into that. So they released a statement which says, "Hey everyone, let's talk about those changes from January 3rd. The team is always focused on making zombies fun and rewarding. It's why we make video games. But we don't always nail it the first time. Some fixes for bugs or exploits can become lower priority as more important issues come up." Which, like, what does that mean? You want to talk about priorities? Talk about your server maintenance, people's IPs being exposed, hackers that are in your game, like, ruining it for everyone else. The natural flow of things, like pop-ups not working properly. People are complaining about their camo progression not popping up, so they're just lost at what they're supposed to do. And some need to be held for an update further down the line. Last Friday's changes to Big Game for Shadow Rift, the shock charge speedrun step for Terminus, and directed mode spawn delays after 5 looped rounds are prime examples of these. We know it's not fun to see a fix multiple weeks later for something that wasn't bothering you in the first place, so we're reverting the directed mode changes, giving Shadow Rift 4 new buffs, and scheduling a fix to allow speedrunners to safely use the shock charge tactical in Terminus again. The first 2 are live now, with the speedrun needing some extra testing before it goes live. Thanks everyone for the reports of visual effects not showing properly in Citadel Daymore, and crashes that can happen when you're using a sword while Aether Shout is active with the Void Sheath augment. The team produced fixes for these bugs shortly after they popped up, and they're live today. Okay, so this also leaves questions, because if they are able to nerf something and make these changes relatively quick, and also add 4 additional buffs just to, you know, make up for it, why haven't they fixed any of these other important changes just like that? And I'm not saying when it comes to higher priority fixes such as server maintenance, dealing with hackers is such a simple solution, but I mean, if you want to talk about priorities, isn't cybersecurity within your huge corporation a major priority? One of the most important things at my work when we do deploy servers is making sure that you're secure, you're hidden behind a firewall, and just ways to prevent your company from being exposed to other users or just malicious users. And let me tell you, Call of Duty is full of malicious users just running around in their games, exploiting other people, and who knows, possibly breaking their machines or just ruining their game, even just ruining the flow of the game in general. It's just so detrimental and will stop people from playing the game you probably paid $700 million to make. Call of Duty just released a statement not too long ago saying that Cold War costed $700 million to make, almost $1 billion. You can't even comprehend how much money that is. So with Call of Duty Black Ops 6, how much did that cost to make? It took 4 years of development time to make that game, so it obviously is a substantial amount of money, since for the fact they're pushing for microtransactions so goddamn much. Every time you boot up the game, right now, you're going to see Squid Game. It's going to get pushed in your face. Squid Game. Hey guys, look, you can play as the front man, play as the pink guys, you can play as the doll, play red light, green light, get our battle pass. Like, they're trying to make up for a lot of money that they could potentially lose. And I think right now, it's really hitting them hard with 50% of their player base leaving, because that is so important as a company, so you can obviously make your money back. But for the fact that all your users are leaving that bought your game, it's probably scaring them right now. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Call of Duty is shaking in their boots and it really like, hey guys, we gotta actually like listen to these people, time to stop making these fucking terrible decisions. It looks like the Zombies team is also really trying their hardest. I'm sure it's a different development team compared to multiplayer, Warzone, and whatever else. But let's also look through the patch notes of what they changed. For maps, Citadel Daymore addressed an issue where using the Void Sheath augment for Aether Shroud with one of the elemental swords could cause the match to crash. Addresses an issue where many visual effects would stop playing, and Directed Mode addressed an issue where guidance would be incorrect if the player disconnected and all that kind of stuff. So Directed Mode, when Citadel Daymore came out, it just wasn't working properly. modes, directed mode, remove the extended time between rounds and delay between spawning zombies after 5 looped rounds at the round cap. Like, this is just such a weird decision they made. So I think what the plan was is they were trying to stop people from grinding camos so fast. If you don't know, there are camos now, which you can grind for, and they do take a while to get. Like, I'm just finishing up my assault rifles. I've been playing a lot of Liberty Falls to do that. I know Liberty Falls is like the camo grinding map. But still, the fact that they manually added in the time gets longer after the round switch is over, it's like, why was that so necessary? Like, you're making it more frustrating for those people who are just trying to play the game, or even maybe they need an extra round or two just to get some points back when they're doing the Easter egg. These Easter eggs sometimes cost tons of points. Shadow Rift activation rate, so these are the 4 buffs for Shadow Rift, which is crazy. Okay, you can add these super fast, but you can't fix other issues super fast. Like, that's what I mean. The priority list is very questionable. Normal enemy activation rate increased from 15 to 20%, special enemy activation rate increased from 5 to 7%, and elite enemy activation rate with the big game augment increased from 5 to 7%, and the cooldown is decreased by 25%. So it's like, yeah, they buffed it, which is great. Like, that's cool. I can use this again, and it will feel fun. But at the same time, why did you have to nerf it so hard in the first place? Later in the high rounds, these enemies are absolute tanks, and it's nice to have a way to take them down easy, and it's not like that breaks the game or ruins the flow. It helps keep the flow of the matches going. When I have 3 manglers shooting at me, I don't want to deal with that kind of bullshit. Call of Duty even had a statement about this. The big game augment for Shadow Rift was never intended to one-shot elites, but we know it worked like that for months, and we heard you about the latest change, taking too much away from Shadow Rift overall. So we added 4 buffs to make Shadow Rift activate more frequently, including a 25% cooldown, which we just read. And like, okay, so what, you see that it's overpowered and you're just like, no, like, you're taking the fun away from the players. This is what makes people go back and be like, hey guys, you should use this. Like, this is really good if you want to rock Shadow Rift and do high rounds. Like, it's important factors that helps people develop their own play style. Not everyone is going to be rocking Shadow Rift. Yeah, with Elemental Pop, it's going to be popping, or no pun intended, popping out from time to time. And now for the one that I know a lot of people are mainly pissed off about, and even then, like, myself included, I don't know the priority list. As I said, we're going to be talking about Deadlight Greenlight. Added Liberty Falls to the map selection and increased round cap to 20 before exfil. And they also had a statement about this, which just like kind of blows my mind, because it's like, why didn't you add these in the first place? You're wasting developers' hard work and focus on something that's less important. Like, you need to be focused on more important things. This is what they had to say. With the launch of Deadlight Greenlight, we wanted to ease players into the limited time mode with a single map and a 10 round cap before exfil to make sure the majority of players had a good chance to be successful without feeling they needed gobblegums to survive. Basically, a bite-sized experience that's not too punishing. Looks like it was too easy and over too soon for a lot of you. Starting today, we added Liberty Falls to the map selection and extended the round cap to 20. We'll plan week 3's round cap extension based on how crazy the community wants the challenge to get. But even then, exfil, the way it worked is after, I think, round 10, every 5 rounds, so it'd be round 16, round 21, pretty much after you finish, after that 5th round, it will tell you to exfil. Why not just keep this main mechanic in the game? Like, you went out of your way to develop something special for Deadlight Greenlight when you could just allow players to have that option when they're ready to exfil on their own. In my mind, that doesn't make sense. Like, it's just a lot of extra work done for no reason. And as I said, those resources, that development team, could be pushed over somewhere else. There's also changes about stability in the game, which they had a statement for. Sometimes bugs appear fixed in testing, but turn out to be still an issue in the live game after the patch goes out. This sucks for everyone involved, and it can lead to inaccurate patch notes, which we never want. The Vermin double attack bug is one of these, and like the Terminus speedrun fix, the proper solution for it unfortunately can't be implemented as quickly as some of the other items listed above. Look for both of those fixes when Season 2 launch on January 20. And like, even then, the fact that, like, you gotta think of this also as a business perspective. Why are they catering to speedrunners? And I'm not saying that to disrespect speedrunners, but if they spent a shit ton of money on their game, don't you want to try and make the majority of everyone playing zombies normally happy? Like, it's not just about the speedrunners, it's about the people who are normally playing zombies and dealing with these issues, the people that are normally playing multiplayer, not getting their pop-ups, not having a fun time during your special limited time mode, which is still lackluster in some ways. There's just so much questionable stuff that they are doing. And what are they doing to fix this? They're just trying to make the community happy, because things are tanking down right now. Like, Call of Duty is spending so much money It's unbelievable. They did make some changes to Red Light Greenlight in the multiplayer mode, but I'm not going to be going through that. I don't think it's important. And I just know a lot of people are upset about that, which I naturally understand. There are better things for Call of Duty to focus on than Red Light Greenlight. But it's the fact that as a business, they're trying to make their money back, and they're probably freaking the fuck out right now. Now for an important part of the video, when it comes to actual cybersecurity and anything sort of malicious, if you're a person that actively goes online, just to kind of break down like basic internet safety for you guys, and when it comes to cybersecurity, I'm just going to be going over, as I said, very basic stuff that I think is just important for everyone to know. And I know this may seem kind of standard or just like self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised how much people I deal with on the daily, young and older users, that do these things from time to time, and just small mistakes lead to huge problems or just disasters. If you're a person that goes on websites often, don't click on any third-party links or any links that you think are possibly malicious. Anything you think you don't trust, I really don't recommend you click on that. That even comes to things like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If people leave malicious links in the comments or whatever thread that they're posting, I really don't recommend you click on those because they are going to break your machine possibly. And I know some of you might hear that and just think that's totally ridiculous or that's completely laughable, but there are people out there that are out there to fuck you over. I don't think that most people need to go out of their way and get themselves their own VPN. I do think that's a little bit absurd, but if you want to go get your own VPN, if you think your internet is going to be compromised or your machines are going to be compromised, or if you're playing a game such as Call of Duty where these hackers are running around, I totally think you should go for that. I'll link some VPNs down below for what I think you should get. Probably Nord is the biggest because I know they get sponsored around a lot, so I'll definitely be linking them. Even some basics such as updating your hardware is so important. Even basic stuff such as updating your software is extremely important. Windows 10 is going to be unsupported after October, and that means Windows 11 is going to be the main focus for Microsoft and possibly the next operating system, whatever they have in mind. So if you want to move on to Windows 11, if your machine is capable of doing that, I would recommend so. And I'm not saying Windows 10 is bad or you should get rid of it. Like, I'm still rocking Windows 10 on my own computer. I just prefer the interface of Windows 10 compared to Windows 11. But even then, if you want to migrate over to Windows 11 and your machine is capable of doing that, I totally recommend, because there could be updates that Windows 11 has that could probably be better than what Windows 10 has pushed out so far. If you're a Linux user, just keep doing your best. I don't know anything about Linux myself. I haven't really prioritized my studies in Linux. I've touched it and did some digging and playing around with cybersecurity, but I really just don't use Linux or see it ever for the years I have been doing IT. But I do understand that Linux users are pretty well diverse on their own. And if you are using Linux and you have some knowledge about cybersecurity or just internet safety, please leave it down in the comments below. Also, even having an antivirus is just important on any machine that you're rocking. Maybe not so much iPhone, but even then, I know people have their thoughts when it comes to iPhone. One of the biggest jokes in IT is, do you have a real phone or iPhone? Jokes aside, getting your own antivirus is just extremely important because, as I said, you don't know what's out there. You don't know if anyone's trying to compromise your machine at any point in time. It's just a scary world out there. And with the world of Call of Duty, if you're playing online games, I can't imagine how frustrating it would be if you actually had to go from spending $90 to buying the game to now probably over $1,500, depending on your PC setup. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate you for making it to the end. If you like this video, like and subscribe. And I also have a Discord that you can join as well. And other than that, please stay safe out there, especially if you're exploring the internet. And I will catch you later.